Hey guys, so obviously this is speed draw and speed paint, but I really wanted to talk to you guys today about how I got into art and like why I do art and like why this is my thing because you know, why not? And so let's just jump in with my first artistic memory. So my first like memory of like being like I'm an artist. Like, this is who I am. Is I was like 4 years old outside my principal's office for preschool, and I was drawing these hills, and like these were some bomb ass hills. I was like, girl, this is me. And um, so yeah, that was like my awakening. And then at first grade, like this is one of my top three moments. In first grade, we had to draw bluebirds for like a poem or some shit. And so I drew my bluebird. I was like sick, cool. And then the teacher came over and she was like, dude, this is really good. She didn't say like that, but like, you know what I mean. And so she got the whole class to come around me and she was like, Lauren is now the class artist. And for a 6 year old, like that's a pretty big deal. I was like, this is who I am. And so in elementary school, we had to take I went to private school for a few years, so we had to do a French, or not French, we had to do French, but we had to do an art class once a week. And so that was like my time to shine. I was like, girl, I got this. And so that was my favorite class. That was my awakening to Van Gogh. Van Gogh is still my dad to this day. All good. Um, Fast forward through elementary school, where I didn't do it as much because I was like, 12 and I was riding horses. I had a horse of my own, so I like didn't pay attention to it much. But then I got to like middle school and I was like, I'm interested in doing art again. So when I was in 8th grade, 13, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be done. I had a horse that sucked, so I sold her because it just like it was bad, it was dangerous. So I sold her and then I was like, I'm going to be an artist, and I enrolled in this like I had done a few things in middle school, mostly like anime and emo related. Um, but I enrolled in this like out of school class, and it was like such a cool class. You know, like where you have a moment where you feel like even if you don't have friends there and no one talks to you, you still feel like you belong there. That was my place, um, and then someone talked to me after 4 years of being there, and I left because because I said something really embarrassed me. I was like, no one has ever talked to me before, and then so I never showed up again because I was just embarrassed, and then my mom stopped paying for it. But, anyways, so I enrolled in that, and that was like my awakening to being an artist, and I was like, cool. And I didn't really take any classes in high school for art. I tried to join clubs, but animation like didn't want anything to do with me. Anime club didn't want anything to do with me. None of the clubs wanted like me to participate, so I was like, okay, whatever. And I was the president of Digital Media Arts Academy, which was like this new thing that our school was doing. And you could get like Photoshop certified, like it was bitchin', but like it was digital media, right? And so up until this point, I was mostly just a traditional artist. And so I think they just accepted me because it was like their first year, so like fuck it, whatever. You can join, I guess. Um, but it kind of sucked. Like that was kind of a sucky experience for me because it was first year and stuff, and so it didn't go well. So I felt like I wasn't able to get into art classes, and I wasn't able to do anything with this Digital Media Arts Academy. Like all the classes I was taking for it, like nothing I did turned out well because I'm not a video person. That's just not something that comes naturally to me, I guess, because even though I love it, I just can't. Um, so I just felt like I was getting a lot of roadblocks, which happens if you're like trying to do your thing. But, and this is probably gonna sound really like conceited or whatever, but it was such a cool moment. And it's kind of why continued to do art because like I started to feel like, okay, maybe this is just like some weird teenager thing that I'm doing, and like as soon as I leave high school I'm gonna become a vet or something, right? Like something, a normal job, right? But my teacher, my out of school teacher, she had a daughter that worked there with us. And so I was taking out trash with her one day. And her daughter's like probably like 25 now. And so she's an honest person, like she's chill. And she had never spoken to me before. But so when we went out to take the trash out, she like we were walking back and she was just like really quick before we went inside, she was like, "You know, my mom thinks you're one of her best students she's ever had." And I was like, dude, like I had an out of body experience. Like I think back to that now and I'm like, how the fuck did I get someone to say that about me, think that about me? Because, you know, now I see all of these people, like all of you dudes are doing such cool shit. And I'm like over here trying to make some stupid ass comic book and like paint some shit that no one cares about. Like I'm not an illustrator. I'm not doing jobs. I'm not graphic designer, you know, anything practical. Like, and I can't even draw that shit. You know, my background that you just saw is like super gay, but it's okay. But yeah, like I think back to that and I'm like, is that like a sign that I should keep doing it? Or is it just like was it just a nice compliment? Because you get these different random things. And I think anyone doing anything, you know, gets these different random messages from the universe and they're like, what the fuck? Like, what do I do with that? And it just gets to be really confusing because right now I'm starting to wonder, like, is it worth it? But it's like, I feel like I'm not getting any better and all these people around me are getting better. But it's like, throughout my life, I've known that, like, this is what I do, and this is what I like to do, and I do it even if people don't like it. Like, my family hated my art forever. My mom, God bless my mom, was always like, no, it's cool. And because I, like, made some gross-ass art. Like, my art was pretty morbid for a while there. And then I got feelings, and now I'm scared of it. But, yeah, it's just like, it's my only way of being able to be myself. And I think anyone, like, if you're into science and, like, that's who you are, like, that's so cool. And this is who I am, this is what I do. And it's hard because, like, so you do science, you're set, man, you're good. But for art, you gotta be, like, really good at it. Otherwise, you're not gonna get jobs. Like, you can be a backseat pharmacist if you're kind of not great at science, but you love it. But I mean, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just, like, ignorant. I don't know what I'm talking about, but it just feels like if the world has been so chill with me about my art and, like, tosses me these little reminders that, like, this is what I am supposed to do, then why is it so hard, you know? Like, if it's what you're supposed to do, it shouldn't be so hard, right? I don't know. And then it feels like, even if you, like, it feels like no matter how hard you try, that it's not trying enough because it's not what anyone else is doing, right? And I know, like, everyone can relate to this on some level, not just with art. But I don't know, man. Like, I really want to want this, but it gets so hard to want it when you have people telling you, yeah, man, I'd love to buy your art, or I'd love to come see you at a show. And then no one shows up, or no one buys your work. No one... It feels like no one supports you. And, like, that's for anything, you know. You have that friend in a band. And, like, there's a part of you that's like, that dude should just grow up and, like, get a job, right? But then there's another part of you that's, like, the not cynical part that's like, that is so cool. And I want to, like, experience that and be there for that person. Because, like, they deserve to live out their dream, but like you're trying to do your own thing. Like there are so many layers to like supporting yourself and supporting other people. And being an artist is like fucking hard because it's not a linear path. You don't have anyone that's like, this will work, this will be good. And that kind of sucks. Because even if you do have like an artist in your family, they're never gonna be like, this is exactly how it goes. Like, no. Both of my parents, my mom's a lawyer, and my dad owns a real estate company. My mom owns her own law office, I should say. Like, they're both very successful people. So to be an artist in that environment as well is just like, that's some hard shit to deal with, because you don't want to disappoint your parents. Like, you don't want to be the sibling that they look at and they're like, well, we'll try again with the next one. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be cool with who I am because I know this is who I am, but man, it gets tough, boy. It gets, like, real tough. Why can't we all just be, like, supportive of each other, you know what I mean? But whatever. That's how it goes. This got really depressing really fast. That wasn't the goal. I was just going to talk about, like, how I got into art, but I guess how I got into art was because I was emo, and, like, not even because I'm emo, just because, like, I just like to do it, and that's, like, my only way of communicating that makes sense to me. Like, it's the most honest way I can communicate, and I think, like, any other artist that makes things, like, any other creator that makes things, this is their most honest way of communication. Even, like, poetry or some shit. And so to not know if that is the right thing for you when you feel like you've been given so many green lights for it. Not even green lights, just like reassurances. Like, I haven't actually had very much success with like trying to get into galleries, trying to like promote myself. Like it's just, you just wanna be good at it, but it's all about chance, really. So hopefully that happens, and I can give you another update later in life about how everything's going good, but one day we gonna laugh at this video, hopefully. But yeah, I don't know. It would be nice. And I'm gonna keep doing it. And I think anyone who makes things should keep doing it. Or anyone that goes against like what their parents say they should do, keep doing it if that's what you really like to do and you're good at it and you feel like that's how you want to live your life, then like go for it, my dude. Live that life. I want to see you take over the world in like a positive way. Take over the world with flower crowns or some shit. Except not flower crowns, because like they're kind of ugly, to be honest. Like, if we're gonna be real, they're kind of ugly. But yeah. I don't know. So this is... So anyways, back to this drawing. I'm looking at it and I'm like, I should probably explain this a little bit. So before we go, just ignore the emo story you got. This is Liu. I don't know, it's Liu. And he's one of the main characters, kind of. And this drawing was really hard because, like, I want to make it look cool, but I still don't understand Photoshop very well. And so, like, you saw me working on the holster with the bullets and stuff, and those, like, I was trying to use dodge and burn effects, which basically just lighten and darken the colors, and, like, it just came out so botched, but it's okay, we're learning. But, like, that goes hand in hand, like, if I can't even figure out, like, fucking Photoshop, like, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Who knows? We gonna see, boo-boo. But yeah, thanks you guys for watching and putting up with my emo story that ended up being more emo than I thought it would be. And thank you for your constant support. It means a lot, like more than you know, and I appreciate it.